Well, hello and welcome to the Unofficial Unreal Engine podcast, where we talk about all things Unreal Engine and also long walks relatively near the beach. I'm your host, Alex Coulomb, and I am here at the calm before the storm at Unreal Fest. On this brief episode, I'll be taking you on a journey of the walk from one side of the Orlando Convention Center to the other. I'm recording this on Sunday, social media embargo till Tuesday, so you'll be seeing this at a time when this is much more busy. But I thought I would share some tips and tricks and some of the things that I am learning as I get situated here in Orlando. And I'm going to try not to run out of breath. It's a long walk. So you'll see some banners around behind me. We got a lot of good little tips for the labs and whatnot. We got labs over in these rooms over here. We have 3 members of the Agile Lens team giving talks, or labs rather. One will be on the layered material system, one will be on intro to augmented reality, one will be on Unity to Unreal Engine, and then I'm of course giving a collab viewer template talk on Thursday, the best template you're not using. And I think it's safe to just peek into a lab real quick just so you see what they look like. Nothing top secret in here. They got nice mood lighting. Also, check out IES files. It's basically like the standard IES files that come with Unreal Engine. But yeah, those are great. Sign up for those if you can. My big tip for the labs is to, even if you didn't get into one because they sold out all super quick, is to just show up to anyone you want a good 10-15 minutes before it actually starts. And there's 30 things going on at any given moment at Unreal Fest, and so people are not going to show up, and you can totally take their spot. No problem with that. I do like all these banners. You'll see a lot of these as I walk around. I think they give a good vibe to the whole thing. We also get a lot of Unreal Engine branding outside. We've got this really nice, what's it called? A TV screen, I guess you could say, up above. That's kind of giving us a sense of everything that's coming up for various events. Now I'm coming up to one of the entrances. This is on the north side, and these are pretty symmetrical. The south side is where most of the hotels are, but the north side is pretty much the same idea, and you'll see some of the Unreal logos right there on the door. Oh, and then here's what I'm talking about with these nice little things that will tell you what's upcoming, various exhibits that are coming up, and exhibits, talks, things to keep an eye out for. So I'll just kind of pause there for a second as you see a couple of those. And then of course we have a big old banner over here, as well as a great big giant Unreal Engine logo, which is fantastic and excellent. And there's actually some work being done on it outside. We'll take a little peek. Little pre-Unreal Fest thing. We got to spray paint it again. Kind of thing that happens, exhibit design and all that. So upstairs is more rooms. I really like, by the way, that the labs are on the first floor. I always felt like the labs were a little bit too far out of reach, so having them a little bit more central is great. And then more rooms upstairs. Pretty much the same on the south side and the north side. My room is North 1 for my Thursday morning 10 a.m. talk, which I fully expect to be totally full. The first talk in the morning after a hard rock night partying at the House of Blues. By the way, the exhibit hall down there, super secret, can't go in there yet, all the way down there. We just see a little bit of a hint of there, Unreal Fest. Zoop, zoop, zoop. There. Can't go down there yet. It's all being set up. I think there's a lot of cool top secret things related to the state of Unreal. There's 8 different tech talks related to the state of Unreal, which I think will be announced with more titles and descriptions once they are ready to go, or once you hear all those announcements on Tuesday. I don't even know. Sometimes I get like a little sneak preview of what's coming up for some of these big announcements. I really don't know what the big announcements are going to be, besides things that people have already, commented on and seen in 5.6, like the new templates and, being able to do stuff with metahumans directly inside the editor. So we'll see. Hopefully there's something new and surprising on that front. More banners. So now, of course, during the actual event, you'll be able to pass right through the middle between the north and south concourse to go to the exhibit hall. By the way, some of the signage is ridiculous. Like, it'll just say north-south concourse, and you're like, which one is it? It can't be both. That's more to do with the convention hall, nothing to do with Epic Games' ability to help with wayfinding. In the actual event, you'll be able to go right through the middle, through the exhibit hall. Still going to be a long walk there, but you can go between the different sides of the fest between that. But I feel bad for anyone who's trying to book it from, a talk or just being in one concourse and then going to the other, north versus south, because it's a long walk, as you're about to see. So, most people probably won't do this because it's all the way along the side, though it's outside and it's very nice. But take a look at this long walk. So imagine doing this on the inside and going through the exhibit hall and all that, which, how many exhibits are there? I actually don't even know what the passageway is going to look like there. But yeah, let's see. I'm 5.5 minutes into this now. Let's see where we are by the time I get to the end of this walk, where you'll see that we'll be in kind of a symmetrical space on the other side of here. But let's talk a little bit about what I've been doing so far. So my team and I, we got into Orlando on very early Friday morning. So that was May 30th. 4 of us came in from New York, and it was super simple, clean and easy. We had a 7 a.m. flight, and then we had 2 members of our party have just the worst days of travel, because it rains all the time in Orlando, and the airport just decided to close down. One of them was trying to come in from Atlanta, not very far at all. One of them was coming in from Phoenix, and just a nightmare of a time. But then yesterday, we slept in a little bit. We worked a little bit on our RSC, Royal Shakespeare Company project in the morning, because there was some testing going on over in the UK. That time zone's always killer when it's there's people showing up at 10 a.m. UK time, and we're all tired and trying to get things going here. But then I had purchased for our team a bunch of tickets to go to Disney at 1 p.m. Not to say thank you for your hard work and all that, team. No, this is a work trip. So we all headed over to Disney at about 1, because we decided to scan the Galaxy's Edge side of Hollywood Studios. This is very much part and parcel with the already open source project we have with Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. For those who don't know, 2 years ago, again, work trip, not just for fun, a bunch of us did the Galactic Star Cruiser immersive theater experience, and we scanned and took notes about a bunch of that, and we've had this open source GitHub, github.com/AgileLens/HalcyonVR. That's been going on for a while, and we've had some really nice work happening there. But as part of the Galactic Star Cruiser experience, you had a trip, an excursion, as you do with many cruise ships. You dock in the Bahamas for a day or whatever. So the Galaxy's Edge area was cast as Batuu in the world of Galactic Star Cruiser. So we figured, well, if we really want to have a full recreation of the now defunct Halcyon Galactic Star Cruiser Star Wars experience, well, we got to include Batuu in that. So we had 1 p.m. We got there 1:30 or so, 1:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. when the park closed last night, to scan as much of it as we could. We used Sitescape and Polycam, and we did video and photos. We talked to our friends Azad and Nima and other folks we know who have different scanning techniques for tips. And now we've got these giant, 2 terabytes worth of files or so that are just kind of scan data. And I think, because I think we covered a ton of stuff, I'm going to try to incorporate this into my talk on Thursday. So, eventually when that talk is on YouTube, assuming it makes it to YouTube on the Unreal Engine YouTube channel, you'll hopefully see some of the discussion there about how we use the Collab Viewer template to do things like grab all this LiDAR data, all this scan data, all this point cloud data, all this photogrammetry data, Gaussian splats, Luma files, whatever, and then review it. We review it all together in multiplayer across VR and desktop devices, all the magical things the Collab Viewer template lets you do, and then you annotate it and mark it all up. And I think it'll be a nice little showcase of that work that we did yesterday, and hopefully attracts more people to the, again, big open source project here. And you too, if you like Star Wars and you like playing with scanned data and files, can help this project by going in saying, hey, I really think the Rise of the Resistance ride is cool, and I would like to make a fan recreation of it. Great, look at our scan data, use that as reference, look at videos people have made of going through the whole ride, and start to, reconstruct it. Disney would probably be unhappy if we make it like a perfect recreation, but again, treat it like fan art. It's like a homage. It's a spiritual thank you to it, I guess you could say. And you can see how that goes. But I think we're okay. Again, Disney's rule of thumb for this kind of stuff is typically that we need to be non-commercial. It needs to be all based on fan things. We can't go take official files from Disney or ask an Imagineer to give us things or help us. But as long as it's all just stuff that we're doing out of the love of our hearts and the love of the property, we're good. So yeah, that was yesterday. We have our tech checks tomorrow. I did get my goodie bag and my t-shirt and that kind of stuff and my badge down here. And feeling pretty good about this week. I think we're gonna have a good time. I'm always so excited to see people. You know, my tips for Unreal Fest and how to get the most out of it remain similar to what they were before. By the way, yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can go back and watch that episode and hear me chat with like Matt Workman about this stuff when we talk about being introverts and extroverts. But that reminds me that I wanted to mention that I hosted the Unreal NYC meetup for the very first time last Wednesday. And that was super cool. Like, I love, you know, podcasting and chatting and this kind of stuff, but I am an extrovert by nature and I like being around people and I feed off their energy like some kind of happy-go-lucky vampire. And so it was really fun to get a bunch of the Unreal Engine members of the community together in New York City, many of whom I knew from different circles in, you know, different industries, and have them all gather at the Epic Games office in New York City. It was really cool to have Epic Games host this and provide catering and food and snacks and space and big screens and demo areas for us, and I hope we get to do that again. But as part of that presentation, which we did record and I'll release at some point, yeah, I went through like tips to get the most out of Unreal Fest and how to enjoy your experience here. So just a quick recap. Again, same stuff I've talked about in past unofficial Unreal Engine podcast episodes. Like, even if you're an introvert, pretend to be an extrovert. You won't be sorry to end up saying hi to 200 people who are all amazing and doing incredible work in Unreal Engine. So try to do that if you can, even if it somewhat exhausts you. But also, like, take breaks. Don't be afraid to like go take a nap or take some time and pausing here to be like, okay, that was about a 6-minute walk to arrive at the South Concourse. And then, you know, still probably another 2 minutes to get into here where everything is pretty symmetrical to everything else. But you can see like all the banners and everything there. I'm not going to step in there for the moment because it's pretty symmetrical. More rooms over there. But I also wanted to point out that as I run through 50 different talking points here, that there's a big skywalk here. And I made this mistake the other day of trying to come here with a couple of my colleagues via this giant skywalk, because there's our hotel, is where all the speakers are staying. And so it's like a 20-minute walk to come around on the skywalk. And it's fine because it's all covered. And if it is pouring rain and you've got like your laptop with you, sure, you might want to stay under the skywalk or just take a taxi or take the shuttle that's going to be looping around. But it's a much, much longer walk than if you just go from the hotel across the street and then just, you know, directly into the front entrance of Unreal Fest, which is over there. And so, yeah, I'll walk outside for a second here, just to not bother the folks inside who are frantically getting ready for tomorrow and Tuesday. But actually, you know what, I want to show you at least like where registration is, just so anyone who's like, oh, I'm stressed about where to go for stuff, I can show you that. But yeah, tips. Say hi to people. I prioritize people over talks. Like, a lot of the talks are going to be on YouTube. I wish there was more clarity about which talks don't get recorded. So there's a sense of like, use it or lose it, like go to that. Otherwise you'll never see it. But like, if you want to talk to a speaker and you want to talk about the context of what they're talking about in their talk, yes, absolutely. Like, you know, of course I'm going to be more excited to talk to someone who saw something in my collab viewer talk and wants to discuss in more detail versus someone who didn't see the talk and is asking me a bunch of questions that I did cover in it. But like, if you're having a rad conversation with someone outside and you're like, oh, there's a talk I wanted to go to in 5 minutes, maybe prioritize keeping the conversation going. That's just my opinion on that. Again, you know, to each their own, but that's my tip for having the best Unreal Engine success during this. Back to the Unreal NYC meetup. It was great. Yeah, got to hang out with the community, saw some really cool demos. Ferris Webby from Epic Games gave a little preview of what's coming in 5.6 for rigging and animation, which was fantastic. He had little snippets of a bunch of different Epic Games speakers who I think are all giving longer talks here at Unreal Fest, so that was super cool. And I gave a little preview of my collab viewer template talk and showed how easy it is to get like multiplayer up and working. Still kind of need to make the talk. That'll be most of my day today. I didn't plan on doing this like a little episode recording, but it's a long walk and I don't like being left alone with my thoughts. So I figured I'd just, you know, do a quick little episode here. But yeah, we'll come up on the registration area in a moment just so you can see where that is. Oh, it's right over here. Yeah, so right over here is where you will register if you come in Tuesday, and that'll be great. And Then we had a surprise guest on Wednesday, back to Unreal NYC, which, by the way, join the group even if you're not in New York City, because we are going to generally live stream or record the events we do in the future. It's a really nice gathering, and I think will be a nice companion to the podcast stuff, so that'll be great. But we had a special guest speaker, Rebecca Huang, who uses Unreal Engine with her 2D experimental art short film things, and it was beautiful. Like, I love seeing things done in Unreal Engine that don't look like they're done in Unreal Engine and are really conveying a very particular artistic style. So here we go, back to the banner. Pretty symmetrical, except we don't have a big Unreal logo here. Interesting that they put it in the other concourse, because I think it's going to be more, this will be like a more central one because it's more direct access to the hotels. But yeah, loved everything she was showing, and I'll try to put some links in the comments here to checking out her work, or just go to the Unreal NYC meetup page, meetup.com/Unreal Engine. That's kind of cool that that's the hyperlink, even though it's not, again, officially affiliated with Epic Games. Epic Games has just sponsored this one event, but hopefully more in the future as well. And I think those are all the major things I wanted to cover. I don't know, my team had breakfast at Denny's this morning. I've never been to Denny's before. It was fine. Highly recommend Denny's for some cheap, reasonably good food. And I think I'm mostly going to spend today hanging out by the pool. Pool's really nice at the Rosen Center. And I upgraded our Wi-Fi for $15, so we'll have some more stuff going on there. Oh, and now I'm coming into a different conference over here, which is fun. Even though we can also see that there's going to be some VR experiences in the gaming center, which is kind of fun. Like, I'm a little frustrated that there's basically 5 VR talks and they all overlap with each other at Unreal Fest this year. We've got mine and an AR one at the same time on Thursday, and then we have a Meta Interaction SDK, June's AR template, and the NASA VR talk all at the same time Wednesday afternoon, which sucks because I want to be at all 3 of those. Yeah, why was I talking about that? See, it's getting a little bit louder here. This is why I wanted to record this before the conference officially starts. This is what it sounds like when a conference is like in full swing. This is the Nutrition 2025 concert. Some of the talks at this one, and there's like a makeup facial like conference as well. And a lot of the talks seem like they could be Unreal talks. It's like, how to get your eyebrows in a perfect condition, how to clean up your skin, blah, 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 blah. Like, it could be about metahumans for all I know. So I'm going to go outside here in a second, but just hovering there for a moment so you see a few more of the banners there. What else was I going to say? Yeah, stop by and say hi. I think I'm going to spend the rest of today working on my talk. I'll just be hanging out down by the pool in the Rosen Center. Not that that's going to matter to you, because you're not going to see this until Tuesday, but that's probably where I'll be hanging out for a lot of my extra time. And let me walk out the actual doors so you can actually see the nice branding they've got outside the expo hall. I'm pretty happy that I can also see the expo hall branding from my room, which is kind of cool. Like, I can just, the thing I liked about Unreal Fest Prague was it was very centralized. Like, you could just peek out your hotel room window, which actually looked into the atrium, and you could see how busy or not busy things were. So it gave you, a sense of whether your FOMO was unfounded or not. It's like, a bunch of people doing cool stuff right now? Oh, no, not right now. Everyone's just kind of chilling. And it's like, oh, everything's really happening. Oh, Harry, there's that guy I wanted to meet. And they're downstairs, and you can go do that. New Orleans had quite a long walk in the expo halls. This might be even longer. It feels longer, at least, maybe just because it's so hot. But yeah, I wonder if this is going to be exhausting and if people are going to be okay getting to all the talks they want to get to in this giant conference hall. But we're excited for the week. It's going to be a good time. Love the community here. Love all the talks. If you've never been to Unreal Fest before, come by sometime. Usually, I should mention this too to my podcast listeners, I usually do have a promo code. Usually promo codes that I'm not supposed to give out publicly, but if you're I would love to come to Unreal Fest, it's just too expensive, which is a very reasonable way to feel. Let me know, and I might be able to help you out on, a case-by-case basis. Interesting, they're trying to promote the hashtag, also AEC Summit. AEC Summit? Come to the AEC Summit. Yeah, I'll be at that on the June 3rd. I was going to say, Unreal Fest is expensive, and it's getting more expensive. I'm not entirely sure why, but if you can't come because it's too expensive, let me know, and I might be able to give you a promo code in the future that will help you out. Here we go. Here's the doors over here, and then you'll just see this nice branding as I exit the convention center. And sure, yeah, I'll walk back to my hotel room with you, just so you get a sense of the direct route, not the 20-minute Skybridge route to get back. Yeah, I think I'll probably set up with my Apple Vision Pro. I'm totally one of these guys who, like, I love working in the Apple Vision Pro. I find it incredibly productive and peaceful and relaxing, and I just set up like all my windows with a kind of hierarchy to be at the size I need them to. Like if I'm just compiling something in Unreal Engine and I just need to know when the compilation's done, I'll make that tiny little window over here, and I've got, you know, Discord or Slack or whatever else open, and then I've got a 3D movie playing in the background, even if I have the volume off, just because I think 3D movies look so good in the Apple Vision Pro, even if you don't often watch 3D movies in theaters where the angle might make it kind of nauseating. Very, very grateful, of course, for the partnership with Apple and them giving our company some Apple Vision Pros to play with. It's been great indoctrinating more of my team into this workflow as well, especially when we can do things multiplayer. Would love to have a little Apple Vision Pro stuff going on in the collab viewer template talk. I don't think there's a super clear path toward making that work, though. You know what? As I'm saying that out loud, I don't know. It might work. Let me give it a try. I'll give it a shot. Again, Apple Vision Pro works with like OpenXR stuff. OpenXR is connected to the collab viewer template. It might work. It might work. All right, now I got to go try it. I'm going to add it to my list of like things to do. Now the crosswalk for Denny's is over there. Is how I came over here in the first place. We like wrapped up breakfast and I was like, let me go take a look at the convention center, see all the cool Epic staff members who are making this fest happen, setting it up. Who, by the way, like, shout out to the Epic Games staff that makes Unreal Fest happen. It's a relatively small team and they do a fantastic job. Like, again, this is really the only event that I make a point to go to every year. By the way, look for the giant fin there if you're trying to figure out how to get to Unreal Fest. And yeah, there's my hotel right there. So much shorter walk to get to the hotel directly, assuming it's not torrential rain outside, compared to trying to take one of the shuttles over or doing the long walk across the Sky Bridge that passes through like 15 other conventions. I don't know, maybe you want to go to the makeup convention or the there's a medical marijuana convention as well. Cool, man. I think it's still not legal here in Florida. Whatever. What else? I feel like I have to fill time for 2 more minutes until I get over there. How are you? How's everything, dear listener? If you're still watching the video, thank you, I guess, for your patronage and liking the content I'm delivering here. You know, this isn't my primary gig. I ain't a content creator, so to speak, a YouTuber, a vlogger, whatever people say these days. But yeah, I mean, if you have watched this video so far, I don't know, send alex@agilelens.com the word crocodile or something like that, or comment it in the video, and I will know that you are a true fan who I should keep an eye out for. And maybe I'll give you like a special t-shirt or something if I see you in person sometime. Now I gotta just stand here and like wait to be able to cross the street. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fun event. I'm just gonna keep repeating that over and over while I cross the street and try not to die. And you know what's good? Exercise. I, for some reason, didn't eat at all yesterday besides some quick food in the cantina. I think I had like 15,000 steps from walking around Disney World. And I came home and for some reason I wasn't hungry at all. I'm not sure why. And then I went swimming in the pool for a long time and there's a bunch of Sour Patch Kids on the ground. That's a little bit sad. When I was younger, I might have picked those up and tried to eat them and then gotten sick. But then maybe that helped build up my immune system and I don't get sick too much anymore. I don't know. Cool. And now walking over to the Rosen Center, my room is like one of those up there. Nice view directly to the front door there, again, so I can see what's happening. A lot of people are coming in. Good things are going on. If there's like a big fireworks show, smoke show, I would see it. So that's also useful. Excited for the party. You know, always come to the party if you're in Real Fest. I missed it the first time I was in New Orleans because I had to work on my talk. The 2-hour OpenXR one, which again, same situation here. Like it was the next day on the final day of the conference and I was too unprepared, so I had to skip the party to work on that. Don't want that to happen this year. Like if you told me right now to talk for 3 hours on the collab viewer template, I could do that. It's harder to boil it down into something that's more like, what's the best data in an hour I can tell you, and how do I not speak at 1,000 miles an hour the whole time? That's a little bit more of a challenge. So we'll see how I try to get this 1 hour talk into something where I'm not speaking at my natural speed, which is like this, and very easy for people to understand if they know me and have hung out with me for a long time and can make YouTube play at 0.25x speed, but it's pretty hard for the rest of the world, especially non-English speakers and people who don't speak English so good like me. So I will try to do my best to accommodate that. All right, going into the Rosen Center here. And yeah, thank you for supporting the podcast. Feel free to like and subscribe, share this with your friends, especially anyone you know who's going to Unreal Fest if they're looking for some tips on how to make the most of the experience. And just coming into the hotel now. And because we've done this all in real time, you can also just look at the timestamps and get a sense of how long it takes to walk from different points. See, there's the value of one-shots. And also just, hey, look, there's a nice little Unreal Fest thing here. That's cool. There's like 7 restaurants in this. Check-ins there. Hey, no, hold on. I'm wrapping up the podcast, but I have a friend here. Say hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm Filip.
Hey,
I'm Iliescu.
Yes.
And I do stuff too.
Where are you coming from?
Santa Cruz, California.
Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah.
And how long you been here for?
I've been here actually a whole day.
A whole day. What have you done so far?
Sleep, man.
Sleep.
Came in on a red eye. Actually, I went down international.
How'd that go?
Explored it a bit.
Yeah.
I watched one of your videos.
Which one?
God damn it! I can't remember which one now.
Was it an Unreal Fest talk or something else?
It was something like all the things I wish I would have known.
Oh yeah, sure. That was my Prague talk.
Yeah.
Was that okay for you?
Yeah, that was good. There's
Cool. Some nuggets in there.
Nice little tidbits in there. Yeah.
And is this your first Unreal Fest? You've been to previous ones?
This would be my third.
Yes. Yeah, because we've hung out at other Unreal Fests.
We hung out at
That's right.
New Orleans. We hung out in Seattle.
Yes, of course. I'm very bad at tracking this stuff.
This year, I am very interested in what we can do with the cloud, with AI, with all the various things that I think are actually kind of underrepresented here.
What kind of cloud stuff?
Well, AI, cloud, interactions with Unreal. So I've been working on, I have an open source MCP Unreal server I've been working on.
Amazing.
So to basically be able to drive Unreal from, natural language and create blueprints, or basically do that at runtime, so you can run PCG by talking to the, to your, web portal or whatever.
That's excellent. How can people find it?
My GitHub is Ancient23, and then so Ancient23 is my GitHub account, and it's just under Unreal-MCP. So I forked it off of another guy who did some preliminary work, and I've added a bunch of tools to it. So to create UI and various things, and I'll be adding more stuff to it soon.
Very exciting.
So I can show you. You can.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
that sounds great. We're not doing a ton with AI cloud stuff, other than like in-world and Convey and some of the AI speech conversational stuff.
That's cool. I'm actually building my own version of in-world stuff with for a client and for myself.
Amazing.
But so I used to work at in-world, right?
Right. Yes, of course. It's all coming back to me. Yes.
Yep. And so I've been doing my own sort of NVIDIA-driven version of but being able to process video and all kinds of stuff, and use Unreal to generate the video and then process the video and then help train the Unreal stuff to get better. And I'm not prepared to actually. My brain is like.
You didn't know you'd be in the middle of an interview. All
no, I had no idea. I just saw you. I was going to say hi.
Yeah, you can see I've been talking for a while, and I was about to be like, okay, bye everyone. But this is cool because usually we do try to do like a little interview on the Unreal podcast. I was like, I don't know who's here yet, so I don't know if I will have an interview. But this is a nice opportunity.
Well, my plan is to make some YouTube videos of all this stuff too. I haven't really started a channel yet, so I'm kind of.
I was going to say, will it be the same username as your GitHub account or something different? You think?
Probably FireChant. Or under probably my company is Dream Awake Solutions.
Right, that's right.
So I was thinking about either doing it under my company, or I also have a game company, Iadog Games.
Cool.
And so I think I told you about my I have a open source plugin I've been building under that. That's basically a game playability system. Yeah. Common UI, MVVM UI, kind of bringing all that together, and so that's all under the game company's GitHub, which is Iadog Games, and I've been building 4 different games with that plugin, kind of simultaneously, which is a little crazy.
That's wild.
But it's, you know, kind of, it brings together all the stuff from Lyra. It brings together all the stuff in, you know, like some of the stuff that Stephen Olabari teaches in his courses, some of the stuff that Tom Lumen teaches in his courses. I kind of just sort of take out some of the nuggets from there and make a, just, you know, it's just a plugin that you can drop into a Unreal project and then drop in data sheets, drop in assets, create gameplay abilities, set up your, you know, like data assets with all the things you might want to show in your game, and it kind of gives you a place to start.
That's amazing.
So
cool. When do you think that might be all available?
That one's actually public
now.
now.
With like tutorials and documentation and all that?
I got to do all that. It's completely just.
I know.
We're just hacking, and we actually, you know, I actually have a game company. We have a game we're trying to get out. So really, we're just trying to make it work for that game.
Right. Exactly. And then it's like we should share this too. Yeah.
Eventually, I'll share it. So I mean, it's public now, and people are welcome to grab it and play with it. And tell me all the stupid shit I'm doing, because there's probably a lot.
That.
But my plan is actually to break it up into a bunch of smaller plugins and then basically be able to abstract them and have kind of versions of it that you can just take the nuggets that you want. Yeah. So there's an inventory system in there. There's a UI system. There's, you know, a bunch of stuff that
super handy. You know, as
all C++ for the most part. So it's, you know.
Yeah, as part of this this segment, I was talking about how I just hosted the first Unreal NYC meetup on Wednesday at Unreal's office in New York City, which was great. And we were talking about other ways to like activate that space and have some events going on.
Yeah, you guys are like the only Unreal like tutorial like house in New York.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not true. But like, I do feel like we're known in New York City. Like we've got, you know, enough of a nice reputation there, and it feels good to be kind of now this catalyst for like bringing together the community. We had like 60 people there on Wednesday, which was lovely, all different industries.
That's amazing.
But you're making me think about the fact that one of the ways we talked about to activate the space more would be to like host a hackathon at their office. Yeah. And everyone's like, well, you know, what if like the templates that come out of the box for Unreal like aren't quite what I need? Like what you're describing sounds like potentially a really good starting point for like a hackathon for like people to go and do any number of things.
I mean, you can drop in, you just go on Google Sheets, make a spreadsheet, drop it in there as a data sheet.
Cool.
And then you've got, you know, you can build entire like player systems and enemy AI and all kinds of stuff really quickly with it.
So cool.
And I haven't added PCG yet. That's kind of like my next thing that I'm going to do. But yeah, and then obviously to break it up and make it all work so that it can be cloud deployed and, you know, work on AWS, using GameLift, using the Epic Online Services and all that. That's kind of part of the next.
And in theory, it should all work in VR, right?
Yes. Yes. You know, right now, none of the games I'm working on are VR or AR.
Right.
But you know, I have had a long career. You know, I worked at Magic Leap for 3 years. You know, Unity and Niantic, all these companies that were specialized in augmented reality. So computer vision is a big part of what that framework will do. Whether I don't know exactly what, I mean, obviously just using the stuff that Unreal has built in is one thing, but I think there are a lot of other useful tools out there that Unreal's probably not using yet. That I could probably bring in. So
very true.
You know.
Man.
And definitely Apple Vision Pro and some of the stuff that's happening there.
We're trying so hard to get it all to work in Vision Pro. And there's going to be some good people here who are also trying to make that happen. So maybe we'll have a little powwow about like getting this to work correctly. There are 8 tech talks on the schedule that are they all just say State of Unreal Tech Talk.
I know, right?
Do you have any theories about like what some of the big announcements might be for the State of Unreal that might then warrant their own talks?
I'm pretty sure they're going to be AI.
AI? Okay.
AI specific. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Because AI representation right now at Unreal is, at least on the catalog, is pretty light.
That's true.
Whether it's UEFN targeted or Unreal Engine targeted, I guess we'll find out in the keynote.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. You here all week?
I'm here all week.
Amazing. Well, it's amazing to see you, Philip. If people want to, we already got your GitHub username. If people want to find you on social media, places like that, where's a good place to find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter. I guess it's called X now.
I still call it Twitter.
On Twitter. And then, you know, my GitHub, I push a lot of stuff out on GitHub.
Yeah.
I'm like very active in development. So Ancient23 is my GitHub handle. And Ayadog Games is where the gameplay framework is.
Cool.
So it's just AYA dog.
AYA
and you can just go to ayadog.com and it's all up there.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
So cool. Well, thanks, Philip, for the
was
totally
my dog,
random interview.
by the way.
Oh,
she
that makes
passed
sense.
away.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I named the game company after her.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you know, since my son
soul
and
of
I,
it.
who's like 11, was
Yeah.
like, let's name it after our dog, you know? So anyway, so she's the soul of the company.
Yeah, I love that. That's really sweet. As a cat and dog and frog and goat and chicken owner,
Yeah.
like I really appreciate how our furry friends represent so much of the drive for doing what we do and feeling appreciated. You know, that unconditional love is really amazing.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting for me because I've been doing, you know, I've been in industry for 20 something years,
Yeah.
like working for big tech companies. So the last 2 years, I've just completely gone freelance.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm available for consulting as well.
Yes. And real quick, because we do talk about this a fair amount on the podcast. So working for a company versus being freelance,
Yeah.
what are some quick like pros and cons you've noticed in your experience so far with that? If other people are thinking about like, do I want to go freelance? I've been freelance for a while. Maybe I should go to a company. What do you think?
You know, I think it's really about the project you're on, no matter what, and the people you're with. You know, I think it's like, I was 10 years at Apple. I worked on the Xcode graphics frame debugger, which is, you know, whatever. I loved that project. That was the thing that, you know, I learned OpenGL, Metal, spent many, many years on that.
Yeah.
And, you know, then the time I spent at Magic Leap working with partners like the ILM X Lab and Insomniac Games.
Yeah.
And some of those things we put out on the ML1 headset, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
were you at LeapCon?
I was.
LeapCon was so fun.
I was the one that managed all the tech talks. For
Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was such a fun event, man.
Yeah. So, like, those projects were amazing. Freelance work, like some of the stuff I'm doing now, is like mind blowing too. Like some of the clients I'm working with are like, there are some very interesting projects. I can't really talk too much about them.
Not yet.
Without like giving away the horse, but or whatever.
Giving away the farm? I don't know.
Giving away the farm. Yeah, I'm really bad at
There's horses on the farm. It all
bad at
works.
saying those things. I'll tell you, one of my clients is that I'm working with is John Gata. He's got a new site called Escape.ai, and that's going to be a phenomenal project.
Yeah,
I really love what we're doing there, and so you know, besides that, you know, there's so many interesting things to like sink your teeth into. So freelance, you know, I think it's like there isn't a steady paycheck. Right. It's like you have to sort of hustle a lot, right? I'm fine, you know, and it kind of takes me back to like, I don't know, like when I was in my, you know, like in the 90s, I threw raves, right? So it's like kind of takes me back to those days where it's just like, you know, like passing out flyers and trying to get people to come to your party, whatever, you know. So I don't know. You know, then 20 years of industry, it's like you sort of lose that a little bit. You're just sort of like, you know, you got that comfy paycheck and you're just doing the project you want to do. And so I don't know. Honestly, I feel more alive doing this. I feel more inspired in a lot of ways. So yeah, I don't know.
Amazing. No, that's super helpful and resonates with a lot of what we've heard people talk about in the past. But it's also helpful if people get to work with such amazing people and companies like you're describing. Like that's so different from like, oh, I got to go do, I mean, I'm thinking about my industry. Like I got to go do my 500th ArcViz project for, you know, college dorms that all look the same. Like if the work is very repetitive, even if you're doing it freelance, it's still like, ugh. But if you're working with super cool people, that makes a huge difference. Super
Actually,
cool people.
Question for you,
super
since
cool
you're
people.
doing this podcasting thing. If you were going to start a new YouTube channel type thing, what would you do it under? Your own self, your own company?
That's a great question.
Because I actually would love to start putting out content.
So
it's I have a lot to talk about, but you know.
So because I still don't have a huge YouTube following. I think I'm up to about like 10,000 followers, and I do things I think the way that the algorithm doesn't like, which is I put everything under my one YouTube channel. Like you can go back and find like the comedy songs I was writing in college on the same YouTube channel where I'm like, here's a very technical Unreal Engine talk, and that's more out of laziness than anything. But if you talk to someone like Matt Workman, who has like tried to be much more deliberate about like what content goes on which channel, you know, he'd probably tell.
Channel,
like I think his advice was like try to create channels that are content or category specific.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And you can, of course, subdivide that as much as you want. Like, you could be like, well, this is specifically about AI in Unreal Engine. And, you know, it's like, well, maybe I do AI in general, but we also talk about other software that feeds into that. And, you know, I wish you luck on that journey, though. And, like, especially if you're offering things that there's a dearth of right now and there's not enough of it out there. I think that's it. Like, there's you can search 5.6 and you'll see 100 talks of people right now on YouTube being like, 5.6 is the most amazing thing that's ever come out in the history of the world. And it's like, okay, sure. But if you're like, here's a really amazing way to use, some kind of cloud AI software with Unreal that you might not be familiar with, that's going to drive more people.
Well, either way, it's like I've got my site, which I mentioned, the iDog Game site. You know, I talk about the different plugins there, and you know, all these things are going to be important to talk about, to document, and to make videos around. So it'll be on the site no matter what. So whatever the channel is.
Nice. Amazing.
Anyway.
Well, cool. Thank you, Philip. So great to run into you, and thanks for humoring me and my podcast listeners. And sorry that I'm so sweaty. I just did like a full walk from the south end of the convention center, then all the way to here, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna go like.
I rented one of those Lime scooters and went up International, like, all the way, and
that sounds fun. There you go. So there's another method for enjoying the nice Florida weather here, is get that breeze in your hair with the Lime scooters.
Oh yeah.
And they just connect to like an Uber
or the
account,
bird,
right?
Lime
or the bird. Wow.
Bird, I don't want to be giving one company too much love.
They're all great. They're all great. And that pool is nice, by the way, too, back there.
Pool is nice.
Nice pool. Yeah. Just the perfect temperature for like cooling off in the hot sun. All right. Thank you, Philip. Cheers.
Absolutely.
I'll see you around. We're going to hang out. We're going to go dance at the House of Blues with the party.
I might head over to Universal.
Yeah. Enjoy Universal. We were at Galaxy's Edge yesterday. We had a great time. Cheers. All right. And what a cool surprise to run into Philip there. Who, yes, like, of course, as soon as he started reminding me who he was, like, all right, Philip's amazing. He's worked at 100 amazing companies, and he's been a staple of Unreal Fest for the past few years. And what a pleasure to see him. I was just going to wander over here really quickly to see if I recognized any of my Agile Lens members, just to get them to say hi. It looks like they're not down here right now. That's okay. And I'm not going to go creep around the pool with a camera, but did just want to show you back here is the pool, and it's a nice pool, and it's a good temperature, and we'll leave it there with an image of the pool. Also, 24 hours, this little cafe over here, 24 hours if you need food or drink at any late night time. What's it called? Red's Beverage Center over here. So, okay, I think I'm done. Gonna go cool off or something like that. Thanks for listening. Again, crocodile, if you made it this far. And like, subscribe, whatever, share, and I'll hopefully see you at Unreal Fest. And I'm really bad at goodbyes. Goodbye for now.